Welcome everyone. My name is Genesee Rickle, and this presentation is designed to accompany a training video tutorial on Abesco's NoveList database and their use of proximity operators. This presentation will cover a description of my target audience, my reasons for creating the video tutorial, my role, the testing and implementation of the training, a brief summary of the training itself, and reflections on key takeaways and next steps. This training was designed for staff who work at the King County Library System in Washington State. It is specifically tailored to a group of information staff comprised of librarians, public service assistants, and support staff whose job it is to respond to online readers' advisory requests. This team is called Book Matchers. This team has been encouraged to take all of the available online and in-person trainings for using NoveList as it is one of their key resources for readers' advisory. My training video assumes that they have watched one training in particular called Reader's Advisory, Make NoveList Advanced Search Work for You. This training was selected as a precursor to my own because not only have most book matchers watched it, they are also familiar with the skills from the video upon which my tutorial builds. NoveList is a rich source of reader's advisory information. Its vast system of metadata allows for unique searching techniques that deliver a custom list of book suggestions. NoveList has produced several trainings on how to use their tools, but nowhere other than a small paragraph on their help page do they explain how to use proximity operators. Many staff who are on the Book Matchers team do not have their MLIS, and thus many are unfamiliar with proximity operators. Between NoveList's lack of instruction and the different educational backgrounds of staff, this training builds an important skill in a searcher's toolkit that is relevant to this database and beyond. While my interest in this database was driven by my professional use of it, and my interest in proximity operators was driven by how much of a game changer they were when we were introduced to them in Information 244, COVID-19 has changed how the King County Library System serves its public, and the Vendor Relations Coordinator has reported the usage of this particular database has gone up around 600%. While this training will always be helpful, it is particularly useful now as more staff are using this tool. I selected a video tutorial for several reasons. The King County Library System is a very large public library system with 50 branches. There are book matchers across the entire system, as well as at the service center. Finding the funding and then coordinating the time to train staff from across the system can be very difficult, so video tutorials are often a preferred medium. Video tutorials have also been shown to work for different learning styles, such as visual, auditory, and kinetic. While video tutorials are useful for the King County Library System specifically, they aren't always the best form for learning, as they are often paused and slowed down for those that are learning from them so that they can catch all the details. I struck a middle ground between video tutorials and static web pages such as LibGuides. By incorporating screenshots with highlighted boxes to draw the learner's attention to the screen rather than a live recording of navigating the databases. The precursor training utilized a live recording, so this will provide balance to those using both resources to learn as is recommended. Part of my job as a public service assistant is to work on the book match team. I'm one of the system's top book matchers in terms of monthly output, and I primarily use NoveList to develop my reading suggestions for patrons. Additionally, I have recently been drafted to facilitate a select list of in-person staff trainings. While this is on hold for now due to COVID-19 social distancing needs, when staff return to the buildings, one of the classes I will facilitate will be on our databases, of which NoveList is one. For the video tutorial itself, I act as a guide. I pose questions to the learner and highlight key information that will help them develop the skills needed to use proximity operators on NoveList. I tested my video tutorial on 3 volunteer book matchers. Their feedback consisted mostly of recommending that I limit the number of examples I use to illustrate my search process, and that my directions were simple and clear. Before rolling this out officially, I will share the presentation with the head of Bookmatch and get their feedback. Once the presentation has been adapted to the feedback, it will then be shared with the whole Bookmatch team. If deemed useful, it will then become a permanent part of the King County Library System video tutorials for which all staff can access no matter their position. With each course, both online and in person, feedback is regularly collected from the participants. This feedback will then be sent to me, and I will continue to work with the Bookmatch team to adjust the training as needed. The training explains how the previously taught searching skills may not be enough to retrieve relevant results. It then explains how proximity operators can help. The training defines proximity operators and reviews the help page's instructions on which ones are available and then how to use them. These skills are then employed in an example Bookmatch request, utilizing relevant keywords and field codes. Screenshots of the search string syntax, coupled with the highlighting of the number of search results, helps guide the learner in determining when and how proximity operators are useful. The training concludes with encouragement to practice the skill and to whom to direct further questions. Both the textbook online searching and my experience with feedback on this project made clear the need to adapt to the needs of the target audience. For example, a similar training designed for staff who hadn't watched the previous training would have required quite a bit more explanation on how to format search strings and why certain field codes were more useful than others. It is also important to not overwhelm the learner with information. Keeping things simple and brief is best. This project really solidified my comfort with using proximity operators. They are a useful tool that can really cut down on search time. Next steps for this project include sending the training to the rest of the Bookmatch team and continually integrating their feedback. Thank you so much for your time. For a full list of resources used for both this presentation and the video tutorial, please see the next slide. Take care.